you're surfing, all you can do is be in the moment, you know what I mean? The wave's changing, you're looking at the wave, like you can't do the same thing on every wave. And it's the same thing with dance. Surfing has basically reminded me that one, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. You know, it can be simple and it's still beautiful. Getting on a wave and cruising and doing what it tells you. It's the same with the music. You put a song on, you listen to the music, and we always say you listen, feel, and then react. Less is more, you know what I mean? My name is David Schreibman, but everyone calls me Kid David. I've danced with Justin Bieber, Chris Brown, Gwen Stefani, Miley Cyrus, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, like everyone, and I'm grateful for it. Surfing in the morning, dancing at night, like I've always been grateful that I have been able to inspire like the world through my dance. I grew up in the Bay Area. Yeah, my mom's a dancer. My dad was a pantomime, and I grew up in just a house like filled with music and art. I never thought I would like become a professional dancer, but it was just around me, you know? I wasn't allowed to watch TV. I wasn't allowed to play video games. It was like play instruments or play on the floor, you know what I mean? So with breaking, like, I started when I'm like 9. I didn't get really serious about breaking until I was probably like 11, and I just got really good really fast. I got really good really fast. And at this time, there was no internet, okay? So the way you got better at breaking was studying VHS tapes. And I would just watch videos all day, all night. I became absolutely obsessed. I was like 11 years old. Yeah, like I was completely addicted to it. And I think because I grew up watching my mom in the studio, and it was just normal for me to explore movement, kind of on like a deeper level than most dancers. If that makes sense? Like, because I was around it, and yeah, like by the time I was 13, I'd entered my first contest when I was 13. I got to the semis and I was like, oh shit, like, I'm pretty good at this, like. And from there, I was doing a lot of local competitions like San Francisco, LA. The breaking competitive scene was kind of small then. It's still pretty small, but it's huge now. You know, breaking's gonna be in the Olympics this year. But yeah, like, I remember when YouTube came out, I made this one edit of myself, and this video went like fucking crazy on YouTube. And I was like 16 at the time, and I was just breaking different than people, because before the internet, when you were developing a style, like I would see videos and study these VHSs, but it wasn't like now where you see so much shit, you know what I mean? It was kind of easier to be an incubator and really develop your own style. Watch me move, can't nobody do it how I do, stay tuned, just watch. And I really had my own style, and I remember this video went crazy, and then I just started getting invited. Like, I got hit up to go to this competition in France, and I won that. And then from there, all of Europe kind of saw me, and then like I was going to a different country every weekend, bro. My name, you know that it's great to be in front of. You should pay attention, listen, let me get you caught up. My whole team here. Yeah, I went on to win a lot of stuff, but more important than win, kind of have an influence on the approach of the dance, you know what I mean? I later then moved to LA. I moved to LA when I was 17 because the way to make money as a b-boy, I was traveling over the world, I was winning contests, I was teaching, I was also judging, but I couldn't, there's only so much money you can make, and I'm like, I want to do this. In like 2009, 2010, like dance movies were huge. I started doing the dance movies, and then the other way that dancers make money here is for artists. And it's a small world, so a lot of the choreographers and people that work on these movies also work with the artists. So basically, like, you know, I've ended up dancing, I've danced with like almost like every artist, because what happened was I built relationships with these choreographers, and they're like, oh, I fuck with Kid David. You know what I mean? Like, there was a time when if you hired a breakdancer in LA, it was gonna be me or one of my friends. And that was it. Like, we were doing all the jobs that wanted a B-boy and dance for artists. And then I was kind of lucky or whatever, but I started working very fast when I came to LA. And yeah, I think I lived in West Hollywood for like, I don't know, 4 years, and then I came to Venice. Yeah. I knew the history of Venice. I grew up skating. I always tried to like combine breaking with skating. But I always skated. I didn't take skating seriously like ever really, but I always just loved it. And like basically, what I loved was kind of old school freestyle skating, like Rodney Mullen, old school Jay Adams, you know, like, you know, Venice style freestyle skateboarding. And I think like all the spins and stuff, like, and the slides, it feels very connected to breaking, you know? I skated, I snowboarded, but I really started surfing was right here at Breakwater. And when I moved to Venice, it was really important for me to like meet the OGs. Kind of like hip hop and breaking, like you have to respect your elders, and there's kind of like, you have to work to gain respect and earn your right to surf with these people, you know? People like Rick Massey, you know what I mean? Funny, I met Rick Massey within like a week of moving here because I got a board, I had a ding. I remember I asked someone, I was at like ZJ's or something, and I was like, where can I get my board fixed? And they gave me Rick Massey's number. And that's when I met Rick Massey. Rick Massey's, he's a Venice legend. So I made a point to spend as much time with Rick as possible. And you know, Rick's story, he's the first guy to go pro from Venice. I would go to Rick's house with a six-pack and just talk story with him, you know what I mean? And I think there was always kind of a respect from Rick because of where I come from in breaking and hip hop, because Rick's a hip hop head. Rick loves hip hop. And also just kind of a general like mutual respect for like being, you know, a master at something. Yeah, I later on started to meet the kids, you know what I mean? The kids here. People like Beck, people like Noah Hill, Joe Dewar, West. And also, I can't forget to mention Johnny Mac. There's a rumor that Johnny Mac, they based the character Spicoli off Johnny Mac. I don't know if it's true, but it would make sense, because this guy is like, he's such a character. He claims like he was one of the first guy doing airs.
It was not the first one?
If not the first, one of the first. Cover of Surfer magazine, I don't know the year, but just so sick. When I came to Venice, it was almost like, it was like everything I loved in one place. You know, there's a history of the B-boys on the boardwalk since the early 80s, like Mr. Animation, all these guys, like a lot of West Coast breaking and hip hop started right there. Skating started right there. Like, surf was right there. Like, and I'm like, it's all my worlds in one place. And like, what I've also loved about Venice is like, there's so many creative people here. Usually surfers are doing other things, and they're creative, and they're artists, and like, there's something about surf that brings artists together.
I was created to be a legend, co-signing myself when I need credit.
Style is king. In breaking, I was very much known for my style. I wasn't crazy moves, but I kind of brought like a new approach to breaking as far as the how you're doing it, you know what I mean? Before me in competition and breaking, like no one was listening to the music and like on beat. And what I love about surfing too is you have snaps, you have roundhouses and cutbacks and all these things, but it's how you do it that makes it special, you know what I mean? The nuances of like little things, your back knee, you know, bring your back knee in, like the arms, like it's the same thing in breaking. You change one position with your arm and that's how you unlock a move. The littlest thing, it can be the littlest thing, drop your shoulder, you know, follow through with your hips. Like, it's always been about movement, you know what I mean? Like, to me, like, it sounds corny, but like movement is medicine, you know what I mean? Whether it's surfing, whether it's skating, whether it's dancing, riding my bike, like what I've found is that anytime I start worrying about money and worrying about the jobs, they don't come. But when I focus on doing things I love, surfing in the morning, dancing at night, like riding my bike, like that's when the emails come. That's when the phone calls come. It's not when I'm sitting around stressed. So I think if I had one message, it would really be like, follow your heart, follow your passion, because there's something that happens in this universe that when you're following your passion, you get rewarded for it. You know what I mean? And just like, I've always had people reach out to me and tell me that. They're like, bro, you're so inspiring. Like, you surf and you dance.
I am groundbreaking. I am the one who's got the earth quaking. I am the one who's got the world shaking. I am the biggest beast in the making. Build up pressure, I'm steaming. I'm about to crank it up, now I'm beaming. I am the meaning.
And this is the crazy thing about inspiration is like, you know, inspiration's a cycle. When someone tells you, yo, David, like you inspired me to dance. Like, I started dancing when I saw you in Step Up, when I saw you in that movie. What happens is I then get inspired that I inspired you, and it keeps going. Because sometimes I forget that I inspire people. You know what I mean? And by someone going out of their way to tell me I'm an inspiration, I am then re-inspired, and then it happens again, and it happens again, and it happens again. So it's like, that's the beautiful thing.
I'm coming in hot, I'm drumming that bop. Just watch how I drop like boom, boom, boom. Knocking out the ballpark favorite. Now watch how I do, watch how I do. Eyes up, cause I'm shooting straight for the